Eating is an agricultural act. It's tied to a complex system that involves how food is grown, where it's grown, the people who grow it, and more. Let's see how this works by looking at one food staple: banana. The banana you're eating was probably grown on a plantation run by a corporation. A corporation grows a single crop on hundreds of hectares of land because this gives them loads of profits. The corporation most likely cleared the forest and kicked out the communities who lived there. It pays low wages to its workers, uses harmful pesticides, and burns a lot of fuel to transport produce to the market. This way of growing food isn't good for the planet, your health, or the workers who grow it. This is industrial food production, and it's how most countries produce food. We need a new vision for growing food, especially in the midst of the climate crisis: food sovereignty. Food sovereignty is the right of peoples to healthy and culturally appropriate food produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and their right to define their own food and agriculture systems. It puts those who produce, distribute, and consume food at the heart of food systems and policies, rather than the demands of markets and corporations. Food sovereignty follows 7 principles. Focuses on food for people. It puts people's need for food at the center of policies. Builds knowledge and skills. It builds on traditional knowledge and rejects technologies that undermine or contaminate local food systems. Works with nature. Optimizes the contributions of ecosystems and improves resilience. Values food providers. Supports sustainable livelihoods and respects the work of all food providers. Localizes food systems. Reduces the distance between food providers and consumers and rejects dependency on unaccountable corporations. Puts control locally. Puts control in the hands of local food producers and rejects the privatization of natural resources. Treats food as sacred. Recognizes that food is a gift of life and asserts that food cannot be commodified. Now, let's travel to different parts of the Philippines to see food sovereignty in action. In Maguindanao, the Tiduray and Lambangian indigenous people call upon Seguyong, spirits or guardians, and the Barakat, power, from Tulus, the creator, to determine the best use of land and natural resources, or what is called sulagad. Because they consider nature as a sacred source of nourishment, they grow just enough food they can consume and take every step to protect nature. Did you know it's taboo for them to let even just a grain of rice go to waste? In the past, sulagad took a backseat to modern agriculture. The community embraced high-yielding seeds and commercial fertilizers. But soon, they saw its harmful effects. Soil quality suffered. Many were driven into debt from buying expensive fertilizers, and they lost sight of the environmental value of land. Learning from all this, the community has since revived sulagad. Meanwhile, in Nueva Vizcaya, the Tuwali indigenous people grow food in community vegetable gardens. These gardens weaned them off industrial produce, and during the early months of the lockdown, even helped feed their families. In South Cotabato, a Tiboli Manobo community continues to use and preserve heirloom seeds. Studies show that heirlooms are generally more flavorful and nutritious compared to hybrid and GMO seeds. What do these practices have in common? They value the life of people and planet over profits, and promote responsible production and consumption. The government has often relied on industrial agriculture to boost the agricultural sector, while relying on food imports to feed Filipinos. That's because the country's economic elite now value land not for agriculture but for real estate, or what's called an anti-agriculture mindset. Because of these trends, the Philippines imports more food than it produces. Pretty ironic for an agricultural country. To turn things around, the government must help small-scale farmers more and support local food systems that will feed the country without harming nature, the source of life. Indigenous peoples' food systems are tried and tested examples of what works.